everyone, and welcome to the Theater Geeks Anonymous YouTube channel! So today we are going to be answering a ton of questions, and the theater questions. All just random things about theater, onstage, backstage, taking care of yourself in theater, doing all of that good stuff that isn't just, where do I get a lead? So, let's start. One of the very common questions that I see with theater people asking other theater people is this a good audition song for the show? So, here's what we think. Do you want your part?
Sure. First, don't, unless the director has told you to, do not choose a song from the show, because that's just a put off. But choose in the same style of the show. If it's a rock opera, choose kind of that kind of style. If it's a more show tune, kind of choose a similar musical.
Yeah, like with that, and it's like, if the directors ask for something from that show, then obviously do that. But it's like, if they ask for something that's different, they obviously want to see what you can put into it that like maybe a song from the show wouldn't be able to. So yeah, pick something that's like of the same style. Also pick something that is age appropriate.
Yes.
If you're auditioning for Annie, don't sing something from Avenue Q. Like, you want to show the casting people that you can do that style of show. And so your audition song should basically tell them, this is what I'm able to do, and this is what you want.
Also, choose a song for your voice part, not the character you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're doing Phantom of the Opera, but you're an alto, do not be singing all Christine songs.
Mm-hmm.
Choose an alto song. Also, I've made the mistake very recently. Choose one that shows off your range. I'm a mezzo belt. I'm comfortable with belting, but during auditions, you get nervous, so you choose songs that are lower in your range just because you're afraid. You don't show them your entire range. Don't be afraid of showing the entire range. Piece this up, but be comfortable with your song. Do a song that you know.
Yeah. Don't do what we did and change your audition song right as you walk through the door. Which
literally change as they're asking you what song you're going to choose.
Which this is actually a funny story because every audition that they let me choose what song I'm going to sing, there has not been one audition that if this is the door, the song I want to do right here, the song I end up doing right here, never have once been the same thing. And it's usually not even something that I'm considering too. It's just some random thing. They're like, oh, I just hear this random song in my head. Let's sing Waiting for Life. Like,
whoa, what? You're right.
Yeah. Stage directions, like on stage, when your director tells you go to downstage right, where is downstage right?
And this may seem like basic stuff to people who've done theater before, but every show that we do, there's always newbies, or even people who've done shows before just never ask the question, what does this mean? What does this mean? And it's good to just know it so you're not confused with going over blocking.
You think stage direction, it's always from the actor's point of view. Think about it this way, you're on the stage, you're the important one, so it's all from your point of view. So if you're standing right in the middle, stage right is to your right and stage left is
when
to
you're
your
facing
left.
the audience.
Yes. So and then
upstage and downstage. Upstage,
in the back.
Downstage.
And the reason that it's like this is because in the old ancient times, instead of having seats that were elevated like most places do now, the stage was elevated instead. So the stage would basically be like this, probably not as steep as that, but who knows. So if a person was right here, literally upstage would literally be up stage and downstage would literally be lower. So that is how the term upstage and downstage came to be.
And that's a great way to remember it, because that's how I always started remembering it, and I still remember it like that.
And another thing that I always hear directors yelling this at people and they never really seem to know what they're doing. I'm gonna move this. So let's say that Eponine and I are in a scene together and I'm like this and we're having this conversation. Right now, you can't see my face all the way because I am like 99% facing over. But if I'm like this, it still looks like I'm talking to Eponine, but you can still see more of my face.
How to take care of your voice. This is very important and something a lot of people like overlook because they're like, oh, I can sing, I'll just sing when I feel like it.
Nope.
So before you sing, I drink throat coat religiously, like cups a day. And it's not completely necessary to do that, but it doesn't hurt. It's very helpful, especially if you're in a role or you're singing a lot, multiple times a day or a week, especially if you have higher songs. It really helps.
Try not to eat dairy, because dairy kind of things, they throat your voice. And I mean, for me, a main part of my diet is like cheese and milk and hot chocolate and regular chocolate and pretty much anything else that has dairy in it. So it's always kind of tough for me, but I know that if I want my voice to sound its best, I need to put in the effort, and I will go eat a cheeseless salad. So.
And Tech Week actors, this is going to sound hard, but caffeine is bad. And it's sad because, you know, you're rehearsing 12 hours for Tech Week, you want coffee. You can't have coffee. It tightens your vocal cords, it makes them really weird, and don't do it.
You don't want weird vocal cords.
And the week of your show, Tech Week, like Cosette just mentioned, try not to talk so much. We had a problem with our last musical that we did here, where the week of the show, all of our leads were losing their voices. Because a lot of them, it was their first show ever. So they were talking all week, they were excited, they were rehearsing, they were practicing extra, and then it got to the show and none of them could speak.
Vocal massages. Like,
it looks stupid, but it helps.
Ever since I learned how to do them, I've been obsessing, like, right here. That's really good. And obviously don't, like, push on your vocal cords too much, but just, like, lightly, like, massage them.
If it hurts, don't do it.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't hurt if you're doing it right.
I learned this from the Theater Kid Things vlogs. How to treat post-show depression.
You don't.
You just kind of deal with it.
My experience, don't listen to the songs. If it's a musical, I still can't listen to songs from The Wiz, which we completed a year ago. I still cry.
Like, some people, they say to treat post-show depression, which we all get, don't lie to yourself, to like hang out with the cast and like listen to the show. I'm gonna be honest, that's just gonna make you cry even more. This is how the Cry Corner started. Eventually it does go away though, once you realize like all like the valuable friendships and bonds that you made over the course of the show.
I'm not saying don't hang out with these people, it's just going to make you sad.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in the Cry Corner.
And also what helps me is looking, and it depends on what theater you're in, but for me, the past shows that I've done, looking forward to the next one, because here I always know, okay, it's over now, but in 4 months we have auditions for a new one. And so I like thinking about that and preparing for the next one instead of looking back on the old one definitely helps.
We aren't saying not to look back at the good old times.
Oh, definitely do.
Because
just expect tears.
There are some times like of past shows I just think about it and I'm like, oh wow, that was really fun, and then you do get sad every once in a while, but I mean, use that sadness for your next sad show.
Yes. Which you all end up doing.
Yep. The next time you play a kid in a concentration camp, just channel your inner post-show depression and you will get through. How to prevent in-cast drama.
This is very important, as we have currently are experiencing.
There are very rarely shows where there is no drama between cast members. And sometimes it can get really bad, and sometimes it's just like kind of underlying. And I have to say one of my biggest things is just don't drag everyone else into it.
Exactly. Don't make people choose sides. Don't choose a side if you're not involved. You're drama kids. Drama is sometimes entertaining, but it's going to affect not only the way you think about rehearsals, but it's going to affect your show. If you won't have the same chemistry on stage, it'll look like you're annoyed.
If it does get really bad, talk to your director.
Because as much of it as it's embarrassing or it's annoying, they're going to help, they're going to sort it out, and if anything, they'll just make sure that the two groups, or however many people are opposing, aren't always together. They're going to stop the drama when they see it.
Yeah, as I talk to our director on the daily basis, and I think one of the things about being stage manager is that like I'm the halfway point between the cast and the director, so I kind of like hear all the drama that's going on. And I mean, not to sound like I'm completely stabbing all the cast members in the back, but if something is getting really bad, I do tell the director just so that she knows it. Like, not so that she goes and be like, hey, you guys stop, but just so that she's aware that a thing is going on. And I personally think that is for the betterment of the people. how to get the director / choreographer / stage manager / anyone in a position of authority and power to like you.
Do what you're told.
Yes.
Don't backtalk. They tell you just like, do it. It doesn't matter if you don't want to do it. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. It doesn't matter if you have artistic differences. They're in charge. You can talk to them in a way, I would rather do this, or could we try it this way? But do not argue with them.
Don't interrupt rehearsal to tell them that you don't like something. If you are really against something, it's like I don't want to say the only acceptable ones, but some of the ones I'm thinking of, like, if there's like choreography or a costume or something that you just like really aren't comfortable in or doing or something. I remember there was one show that I was in, like we had like, I don't really want to say skimpy costume, but it was like just like a leotard and like a sweater or like a skirt. And we talked to the director and we're a little bit uncomfortable wearing this. Can we do something? And like that's when they had us like put on like sweaters and skirts and stuff like that. And if there's choreography that you aren't like comfortable in, because I know there are some shows that like the choreography will get a little and if you aren't comfortable, I would talk to the director or the choreographer or the anybody.
Yes, because it's more important for stuff like choreography. It's more important that you ask, and if it's embarrassing saying that you can't do it, it's more important that you get the help you need or get your choreography changed. Which choreography getting changed isn't a thing that happens often, but someone will be there to help you. I know we have plenty of people in our cast, every show that I've been in, that will help you with your choreography. Yeah. And it makes it so much easier once you go over it. I know I'm a person who doesn't dance a lot, and I'm not that great at it. But if you ask for help, you get better. It's just how it works.
And also, if they see that you're trying to put the effort in, then
their view of you goes up.
They see you as somebody who wants to put the effort in and who wants to be the best they can be, rather than somebody who just
slacking off.
Yes. So, and I mean, stage managers personally, how to get us to like you, it's pretty impossible. You have to be stellar to get us to like you.
I'm still not sure if she likes it.
I'm partially kidding though. I feel like stage managers, especially for us stage managers, they're like basically the same age, if not younger, than a lot of the people in the cast. So it is very easily to get on our bad side, and especially since we're basically in charge of making sure that you know where your props are, your costume, your everything, making sure that we know where the people are. Like, there has been multiple times that we cannot find a person, and it's like 10 minutes before the show, and
MIA actor.
Yeah, and that's going to get us mad at you. So basically, as long as you're responsible and hardworking, and that everyone will like you. But just don't be that person. Please do not be that person.
How to juggle theater in school. Another, it's not easy.
I feel like we aren't the people to ask for this. We really aren't.
But tips that you should do, not ones that we necessarily follow. If you really are if you have rehearsals multiple days a week, late into the night, bring homework to rehearsal. It sucks, but do it. You might have downtime, you might not, but on the chance that you are and you do end up sitting there, you'll have your homework to do. And when you get home at 10 o'clock at night or whatever time you get home, you're not staying up all night to finish it.
Like, especially if you're like at school and you're in your school's production, telling your teachers that the show is coming up is also, it's a great way to, one, promote the show, and second, be like, hey, the show's coming up, is it possible I could get the homework in advance? Or if I could just like have like a rundown of what we're doing this week. That's what I always do. Just having the teachers be understanding, and most of the times teachers are understanding, especially if your teacher likes theater as well.
Yes. I've had the experience of having both types of teacher. I've told a teacher, oh, it's tech week, I am not going to be home anytime this week. Can I get the homework before or have an extension on it? Some teachers are like, no, it's not an excuse. But I've had some teachers, even when it's not tech week, the past couple weeks, that are like, oh, you have rehearsals 3 days a week, you can have a few days more to do your homework. And that's great, because some teachers are really understanding like that, and that's wonderful.
Although it can be very difficult to juggle both, especially if you are doing a show that has, like we do, about 12, maybe 15 hours of rehearsal a week. That is a lot to take out of your schedule. So, but if you are really dedicated, which when I say that, it's going to sound like some of you aren't dedicated, but if you are really dedicated to both, you will find a way to do it. I think that's what I've always been told, like, if you really love something, you'll find the time to do it. which is probably why I do more rehearsing than I do school. If you really love something...
I didn't say that. School is important, God.
Should I major in theater in college? This is what so many people ask themselves and others and their parents and teachers and guidance counselors.
And first, it's your choice.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask people and hear yes and do it, and don't ask people to hear no and don't do it. You really have to consider what you think you're capable of, know your talent level, know your dedication level.
It's like, as much as I want to tell everyone who does theater to go with it, but even though we all hate it when people say you're not going to get anywhere, you do realize it is always something that's in the back of your head. I know multiple people who they've auditioned for theater in schools, they haven't gone in, and it's like they've only auditioned for theater stuff, and so now it's too late to apply to most colleges, and they're trying to figure out what they're supposed to do now because they got rejected from all their colleges. But what I would recommend, which, I mean, again, speaking of, I shouldn't be saying speaking of, but if you really think that you can juggle both, I would recommend double majoring in something. I mean, I'm not in college, I don't really know the extent of double majoring, but that is what my mom has always told me. She says that my mom told me that I'm not singly allowed to major in theater. If I do, I have to major in something else. And I hate using, like, it'll give you something to fall back on, but honestly, yes, it will give you something to fall back on.
And it'll give you, maybe you get 3 years into majoring in theater and realize, maybe this isn't what I want to do, and you don't want to get there and be like, oh, I just spent 3 years majoring in theater and now I don't want to continue it, what do I do now?
Also, there are many things that aren't exactly theater but still have something to do with it, and that can like incorporate your other interests. Like, I love writing, so I plan to go into broadcast journalism, which I've said ever since I was little. Broadcast journalism is the halfway point between acting and real life. You're on camera pretending that you care about all this stuff, but you still get to like be yourself, and you don't have to like play this character besides like the you on screen that eventually becomes a character. But so that's why I'm using my love for theater and my love for writing and turning that into something that I can use.
Does individual training actually help? It differs person from person. I know I did a year of personal voice training in 8th grade, and it's different depending on your talent level. I know I learned a lot of great techniques from being in voice lessons. And I liked it, and you get a lot of more on-stage experience. But if it's something, if you've never sang before, it depends on the person, and it depends on what you're after in the training. If you know you're not a singer, individual training isn't going to make you into one. But if you are, you know you can sing, you know that's something you're interested in, but some people might not have that same experience.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they like try to like teach themselves instruments. I feel like singing is not something you can teach yourself and teach yourself properly. Like with singing, there's so much emphasis on like the breathing and like everything that you can't just like imitate. So I feel like taking individual lessons can help with that. I took voice lessons for 5 years, and even though I didn't necessarily like it, if you look at videos of me singing when I was 10, and if you look at me now, I definitely have improved. So I mean, I do have to thank for that. But I've taken classes for literally everything imaginable. I've taken musical theater, acting, dance, voice, like individual like productions, like how to put on a production, all that kind of stuff. And it's definitely more of an experience thing than I think it. I feel like if there is a place in your area that offers classes, I feel like definitely take it. How to get into theater. Are you a person that's just sitting there watching this and being like, I wish that I could be like them, but I'm not into theater? Well, guess what? You can do it too.
It seems intimidating, like anyone just starting theater, especially if you're starting in middle school or high school, it can seem intimidating because a lot of the people doing it have been doing it since they were little kids.
And also the people that have been doing it forever, a lot of them, they know each other from previous shows, or just like from previous, like all together, because people who have the same interests, they tend to do the same things. I would say in our drama department, I can probably count on my hands the people that I did not know before this production. Most of them I knew from either outside theater classes or from Girl Scouts or from doing shows here before or from Mommy and Me playgroups. I wonder who. But yeah.
And also I've learned about theater cliques. We pretty much accept anyone. Like, if you're a random kid off the street walking in, I want to do theater, that's great. Come be my best friend, because you want the same thing that I want. I don't care that I've been doing it my whole life and you've never stepped on a stage before. You want this, I want this, let's be friends. So, how to choose whether you want to do onstage or backstage work? This is great because we have one onstage person and one backstage person for this show.
I say, if you want to be on stage, then definitely do onstage, but I do encourage you to do something backstage for at least one show.
It's way more fun than you think it is.
It's actually, this has honestly like changed me, like not to sound like really spiritual or anything, but it's like now when I'm older, I want to own a theater now. And I did not want to do that last year, but being backstage and seeing the whole backstage aspect, now that's what I want to do. So, and also the stage managing in particular, it gives you like a position of like leadership. It like teaches you like how to lead a group of people, and it also shows you how to block and how to write notes and how to do all the cues and stuff, because that was something that I kind of had to learn very quickly. It has taught me a lot about the backstage aspect of theater that many people tend to overlook. So like stage managers are very often overlooked by the audience. They obviously they notice the actors and actresses, they notice the crew like moving the set, they acknowledge even like the directors and like the light and everything. But stage managers I feel like they do not get the credit that they deserve. I feel like being backstage is literally just as fun as being on stage.
Oh, yeah.
So that's some of the pros of being backstage. One of the cons is that obviously if you like being on stage, you don't get to be on stage.
A lot of times crew isn't called until the last month or last couple of weeks before a show. But honestly, I feel like our crew, our pit, they're just as involved in everything as there. They go to cast parties, they go out to dinner with us.
I know there are some people, it's like I send out casting crew emails every week, and there are some people, it's like they'll see people in the crew, they'll see me in the hallway and be like, hey, I got your email, I'm really excited for this part that's coming up. By the way, do you need me to do anything extra? Do you need me to do any of this? And I'm like, of course, like let's find something for you to do. But yeah. So I say it's like whatever you do, as long as you do it with power and happiness. And I'm forgetting the word that I'm trying to use. There's one specific word.
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm. Do it with enthusiasm, and you will love it either way. Okay.
On stage, it's obviously you get the recognition because people are watching you, and to some people that is terrifying. I know when I was like younger, I loved being on stage. I didn't want people to watch me while I was on stage. But you get it. I am believe it or not, a quiet person outside of theater. Half of my teachers haven't heard me talk ever.
Surprisingly, I am too. It's like, I feel like me with the theater department and me like in class, it's like, so at parent-teacher conferences, they always say to my mom like, oh, Cosette's like really quiet. I'd like to see her get out of her shell. And my mom's just like, she does theater.
Keep her in the shoulder.
Yeah, like what?
But theater, it gives you, and it sounds so cliche, but you get so much confidence from being on stage. You go through a good run through a show, you get your song perfect, you do a great dance. It's so, you get all those things right, and it's like empowering, you feel good.
And it's so rewarding too.
Yes.
Like,
applause,
yes.
Like getting on stage during curtain call of a show you know you did great in, or you know you did your best in, it feels amazing. And I know a lot of you aren't sports people, but I have done sports in the past. It's the same as like winning a tournament, like, but that's every night, every rehearsal. It feels like you just won something.
And so next one, the didn't get cast blues.
We've all been there.
Yes.
Fun secret, not so fun for me. I went through a little period from like 8th grade to 7th grade to 9th grade where I auditioned for so many things and didn't get in. Like, I think I auditioned for about 10 different singing / shows / just theater things. And I didn't get in all in a row. And it sucks because you feel like you're not good enough, you're not going to get cast again. But it's not true.
Yeah, I auditioned for Spring Awakening a couple of months ago, and I mean, I kind of suspected that I wouldn't get a call back or anything, but in the end, I do have to say, like, my favorite moment of that night besides the choreography part, because that was really fun, but it's like they had us sing something from the show, so I sang Mama Who Bore Me because it was the first thing that popped in my head. Again, I was going to sing something else, but I'm like, okay, let's just do that one. And the really low notes, like Bethlehem and like all like the really low notes, I cannot sing low for my life, hence Cosette. But for the first time ever, I hit those notes every single time, and I was so proud of myself that by that point, I didn't really care if I got cast or not. I was just kind of proud of myself. It's like, I realize also with theater, there's a lot of jealousy in comparing yourself. It's like, I know there are some people, like, for callbacks, they have multiple people sing the same. If somebody else, if multiple people have to sing the same song for a callback and then somebody gets it, another person doesn't, it's obviously going to make you feel bad. And I feel like part of the things about, one major thing about being in theater is that you aren't going to get everything that you want.
Rejection is the first thing you have to learn to deal with theater. From when you're a little kid, rejection is first.
And it's like, just because you didn't get a lead doesn't mean that you're horrible.
Just because you didn't get cast at all doesn't mean you're never going to get cast. I know that was my biggest fear. I auditioned for something when I was a freshman and I didn't get cast. I'm like, oh my god, I'm never going to be able to do theater. I'm stuck. I did all of my theater stuff. I'm never going to do theater again. Then here I am, 2 shows a year. And it's not this, you're going to get better. Your audition, it could be you don't audition well. I know, I don't audition well. I freak out during audition. I'm more nervous for auditions than I am for opening nights. You might not audition well. It's like people who don't test well in school. You could be the smartest kid in the class and suck at tests. It doesn't mean you're not smart. It doesn't mean you're not talented if you don't get a part.
I feel like when, like for us when we do the casting, the directors, choreographers, stage managers, presidents, we all go out to dinner and we like discuss the whole cast list. It takes hours, but it's kind of fun. And I think one of the things is one of our presidents, like she deserves a huge role. She deserves everything that will ever. Elphaba. I think you guys have seen her in past vlogs. She deserves everything that life will ever hand her. But we realized that she was such a strong singer and dancer and performer that we thought that maybe it would be better if she was one of the lead storytellers rather than like a lead character, just so that like she could be that rock that like kept the ensemble together. And so sometimes you need that. So just because you're put in ensemble doesn't mean that you aren't good. It just means that they need the glue to keep people together, and that glue might be you. I feel like this happens to me all the time. I have so many dream roles, but do you want to know how many of them fit in my vocal part? Negative. Everything. I have a very strange voice. If you guys can't tell by my way of talking. But anyway, so if I audition for a character that I want to be, I might not get it because either I might not fit with that character or there might be other people that fit with the character better than I do. And just because I can't sing Natalie from Next to Normal doesn't mean that I can't sing anything. I mean, there are other reasons why I can't sing anything, but that's just my own problem. So I think that if you ever don't get a role, do not be hard on yourself, do not blame yourself, even though you will. I'm saying you will be hard on yourself.
Because it hurts. But don't think that it's the end of your theater career.
Yeah. And I think also having a really good support system definitely helps. Like, I feel like last year when we did The Wiz, like a bunch of us, we all got munchkins, and we all ended up, like by the end, I don't know, like I feel
Munchkin was the best role to play.
I feel like it was so much fun.
Because I did have a bigger role in that because I was also Linda, but I liked being a Munchkin more because I was friends with all of us. Like it was like 6 of us, and we were all great friends. It was a fun part to play, and just because it was ensemble, it made it so much fun because you had so much creative freedom with it.
I feel like some people they see the word ensemble and they automatically think like nothing. But in some shows, like Once on this Island,
it's an ensemble show. Without the ensemble, there is no show.
There's more ensemble time than there is T-Moon time. But yeah, so just because you don't get a role that you want, or just because you don't get a role at all, does not mean you should never quit. Never. Don't do it. Trust me, don't. There have been times I've wanted to quit theater.
Which is our next topic, when you want to quit theater, which will also, like getting rejected, will happen.
I feel like everyone, you will always go through a time that you're like, wait, am I really good enough for this? Is this what I really want to do?
The answer is yes. If you're there, it's what you want to do. It may not be the career you want, but you want to be there.
And it's like, I used to take classes at another place that's where I took like all my theater classes, and after a while I really stopped liking it. And since that was the only place I took classes for a while, like that was the only shows I did, so then I was like, I really don't like this. Does this mean that I don't want to do theater anymore? And I kept saying to my mom, I'm like, I don't want to do this again. Like, and so slowly I was like quitting more and more. Like, it was drama first, then voice lessons, then musical theater. And it was up to the point that the only reason that I was still there was because my best friend was there, and she didn't have any other theater classes that she could go to, and that was the only time we got to see each other. So I was like, we were literally just there because we wanted to see each other. But then I joined the drama department here, and I'm like, wait a second, I love doing this. I just needed to find the place where I like really felt like I belonged.
Everyone has bad days, bad weeks, bad shows.
Bad years, bad lifetimes.
Just because you can go through an entire show when you hate everything. Everyone, every scene, every character. You hate the way you're developing your own talents. And you might think afterwards, I never want to do theater again. That was a horrible experience. But because you were there, you want to do it. You have an idea of what you want your theater experience to be, and it's going to happen eventually. I know I've done theater since I was 8. I never got an experience like I've gotten at the where I am now until these past couple of shows. And every show you're like, I don't know if I want to do it again. You do.
Yeah.
Because in 3 months when you're in another show and you're loving it, you're gonna think, oh my god, I am so happy I didn't listen to myself and quit.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do a bit of a sentimental story right now. So when we were having auditions for our fall play, and to be completely honest, like right before, like multiple people told me that I was going to be in competition with some of my best friends for like certain roles, and at first I'm like, why is this competition? They're gonna get it, not me. But then eventually that just became like those little voices in your head that tell you that you aren't good enough, that we all have. I mean, like, don't even deny it. You can like suppress them, but they're still there. Like they kept telling me that it's like, they're gonna get the role, not you. And I literally started bursting into tears in the middle of auditions. And I told my director, I'm like, I don't even know if we want to do this. Like, and by the end of the night, we decided that I did not want to be in the show, but I still wanted to be involved. And she's like, I want you to do more than just crew, which is how I started stage managing. And look at me now. It's like, I love this. So, like, the moments in your life that make you question if you want to do something, it will lead you to a time when you realize that, yes, this is what you want to do. So, that was very, yes. That's all we're going to do right now, because
I hope you guys thought it was helpful, anything, you learned anything.
Yeah. If you guys have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. We might be able to respond to them. Maybe we'll make another video sometime. So yes, we're gonna go to rehearsal because I think we're late, and we've been recording for about 53 minutes now. So, bye!